but I have a theory. Maybe I'll feel a little less scared if we read it together. There are 3 secrets to a happy life. Unfortunately, no one knows what they are. I think I blacked out for a moment. Hello book besties. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Delaney if you are new here, and we are kicking off a brand new reading vlog. We're gonna be just hanging out and reading whatever the heck I want to read. We're gonna be mood reading. I have been doing a lot of like back-to-back TBR videos or like themed vlogs, which are really fun in the moment, but I'm craving just like a few books in a row, strictly picked off vibes, it picked off my mood. So we're gonna hang out while I do that and just read them together. No real idea or direction for this video, just vibes. Which I feel like is often when I find my favorite reads. If I'm just like reading based off what I want in the moment, I'm way more likely to really get invested in the book, I feel like. So I'm very excited for what's to come, and I know where we are starting. I have already started All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles. I read the Sparrow Falls series by her at the tail end of 2025. Loved it. Every book in that series I think was 4 stars or above for me. So good. It's a romantic suspense series, and this is also romantic suspense, but this is a standalone book, so no series commitment. And she's a new like auto-buy, auto-read author for me. I want to read her other series that she has. I think it's called like the Lost and Found series. Romantic suspense was a relatively new genre to me prior to reading her books, and I've read a couple romantic suspense books that aren't Catherine Cowles, and I do feel like she does it best. For some reason, she just has the perfect balance, I feel like, of suspense and romance. With that, I will say at the beginning of this book, I'm about 30% of the way in. I started it last night. I went to my boyfriend's house and he was playing some like Spartan Greek god video game, and I was like, I could not be less interested in this. So sorry, I'm gonna read on my Kindle. So I read this and I got about 30% of the way in, and it is really good so far. We have our female main character, Ridley. She is a true crime influencer, podcaster, YouTuber, TikToker, all the influencer platforms, and she has just like blown up. That's what she does for her career, like over 1 million followers. She is very well known in the true crime space, and she got into that because in our prologue we learn that her sister, the day before they graduated college, her twin sister went to a party with her. She was never a big party girl. She only went because Ridley convinced her to. She's like, it's the last party of our college years, you have to come with me. So her twin Avery comes with her. They're at the party. They end up getting separated for a little while. Avery goes missing and she has not been found. So Ridley, never feeling like she really found her purpose, she was kind of having like an identity crisis at the end of college. She turned all that pain and grief and guilt and remorse and all the complicated, really heavy emotions from losing her sister into her purpose, and kind of going back and opening cold cases and really solving a lot of like missing person cases that ended up going cold because they were never solved. So all of that to say, she is now in a very small town in Northern California, and she is working on a missing persons case. And the girl that was kidnapped, I think she was 16 when she was kidnapped, ended up getting away. She wasn't drugged for like the amount that the kidnapper needed to keep her drugs, so she ended up waking up and escaping the car before he knew that she escaped. And she is still living in this small town, but obviously very scared to leave her house, does not leave her house, has a lot of trauma naturally. So she's back in the small town where the girl that was kidnapped actually lives, and she's kind of poking around trying to crack open this cold case and figure out what the heck is going on. I will say, in terms of like the romantic suspense balance that I was talking about, this reads as of now a lot more like a thriller than I feel like Sparrow Falls did. The romance is very small at this moment. The seeds are definitely there. We have the small town sheriff. He is grumpy and burly. They have kind of like this awkward and messy and almost a meet cute, but like in a very grumpy way, first encounter, and he is the second point of view, so we know he's going to be the love interest. And he's really endearing in a grumpy way, and I feel like he's written right for like the grumpy sunshine trope. Sometimes grumpy is just like an asshole, to be really blunt, and he doesn't read that way. He just reads kind of stoic, and like he's a little bristly, like he's been through a lot, and so his walls are kind of up. But the romance is very small right now. It's like we've just planted the seeds, are starting to water them, and they have not bloomed yet, but they're there. The thriller element, or like the suspense element of the book, is very, very strong. I'm very invested in it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It's a very quick read so far. I feel like I could read the rest of it in like 1 or 2 more sittings. Really, really easy to get through. As with all Catherine Cowell's books that I've read so far, super great. And I feel like The Sparrow Falls was more romance with a suspense subplot. This is reading more suspense with a romance subplot as of now. So we'll see where it goes, but I wanted to open up the video and let you know about the first 30%-ish that I've read of that book so far. Really, really good. I'm enjoying my time, and I'm excited to just hang out and mood read for the next few books or so. So that's where we're at. I'll update you as I read more, and probably either the end of today or tomorrow I'll probably be back with another update. But those are my thoughts as of now. Hello, it is the next day, and I am now a decent portion of the way into All the Missing Pieces. I was reading on my Kindle last, but I think I was right around like the 55% mark. My dog is barking in the background because my neighbor is in his front yard. How dare he be in his own front yard? She's not happy about it. Anyways, we're gonna try to ignore her little arfs in the background. This is so good. I'm still so invested in the thriller plot. The romance is starting to romance. We have a little bit of like a forced proximity moment. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna see how much they give away on the back of the book, because I don't want to. Okay, it does say so on the back of the book, so I'm gonna tell you guys what's going on. She has to live with him. I'm not going to say the circumstances, but she ends up having to move in with Colt, the sheriff that I was talking about in the last clip. And so we have like this, she's not even a detective, but like true crime influencer, I guess. She's so much more than that, so it's hard to just call her that. But she's now living with the town sheriff. Both of them are very intimately connected to these cases. I'm not going to say any more on that, but both of them are very, very, very impacted by the work that they're doing and the case that they're trying to solve. And now they're living together. They have like a friends with benefits agreement, and they're very determined it's not anything serious. They're not like starting this beautiful long-lasting relationship, but they can't deny the tension anymore. So the romance is really starting to amp up a little bit. Prior to this, I would not have really said this is a romantic suspense book. It really was just reading like a thriller with a slight romance subplot. A slight romance subplot, and even still now, like the romance feels very secondary. She's driving me crazy. She's right there, you can see her. Delilah girl, come here. Come here, you're fine. That's such a good girl. I know, you're fine, baby. Even now, the thriller mystery element of this book is feeling so much more intriguing than the romance piece, which is so rare for me. I'm a romance reader through and through, and I will look for a romance in any book, even if it's not one there. I'm like reading to find a romance. And so there is a romance here, but I'm not super connected to it. It's not bad by any means. I'm not like not rooting for them to be together, but I'm not like super invested in their love story. So we shall see where it goes from here. The characters are really intriguing. I have a theory about who it is, like who the kidnapper slash murderer is. And if I'm wrong, I'm gonna feel so guilty that I suspected this human, but I have a theory. I have 2 theories actually, but one is like way, way, way out to lunch. I'm gonna tell you the one that is like next to impossible. Cecilia, there's like this little old lady. She's involved in the very first meet cute moment of Ridley and Colt. And she's like the town's little old lady. Like someone said she's 100 pounds soaking wet, like just this dainty, tiny, short, little old woman. Little part of me is like, what a plot twist that would be if it was her. My other suspect, I don't know if I want to tell you who it is because I don't want to tell you if I'm right or wrong and like give the story away. You know what I mean? The other suspect, I'm just going to say, is someone I really find endearing and very charming. And because of that, it would make for a shocking ending if he was the one that was guilty. I don't feel like it's the people that they're setting up to be the ones that look guilty. It never is. You know, those are like the red herrings, and they're like the ones that look like, of course, it's this person, it's this coach, it's this man, and it's never the ones that seem obvious. So my brain is going to the least obvious option. But he's such a sweetheart, so if it ends up not being him, I'm gonna feel guilty that I suspected him. If you've read the book, or when you read the book, you'll probably know who I'm talking about. But I am gonna leave it there for now. I don't want to give too much away about the mystery thriller plot, but it's so fast-paced, so bingeable. I'm hoping to finish it tonight. I have a little bit of a busy night. I have just some other work events I have to do for another job that I have, so that will take up the majority of my night, but I'm hoping to find little gaps in my workday where I can read more of that, hopefully finish it today or at the very latest tomorrow, because I'm dying to know what happens. I don't want to put it down. I'm actually angry when I have to put it down and deal with real life things and not read it because it's so bingeable. It's so good. So very invested, really enjoying my time. I have a couple leads and a couple theories. I don't know how accurate they're going to be, but we shall see. I will keep you posted as I read more, and I just can't wait. I need to pick it up again, and like the second I'm done with my next session, I have like a 30-minute break, and I will be using it to read as much as I possibly can. It's so good. Okie doke, I have finished all the missing pieces and it was so good. 4 stars, probably like a 4.25, 4.5. Undecided yet. I think I'm gonna rate it 4 stars on Goodreads for now, and then we'll kind of sit on it and see if I bump it up at all. But it was so fast paced. Like, this is one of the first books I've had in a really long time. That's such a lie. I just read Abby's upcoming new release, and that was also this way, but it has been rare in the last few months or so. I think I've been in like a couple month long reading slump where I was just not feeling inspired by reading, and it was feeling really rare that there was a book that I did not want to put down and was actively thinking about while I wasn't reading it, wanting to get back into it. This is one of them. It was so bingeable. That's really the best word for it. And when I was in the world, it was like the pages just kept flying by. Read it very, very quickly. I think probably in like 2.5 days, I read this entire book. So good. Catherine Cowles is just, she never disappoints. You know, I'm really excited for her upcoming new release. I think it's early March that it comes out. I think it's the start of a new series too. So I'm really excited for that. Great read. Great, great read. I will say my suspect that I said I was going to feel really bad if he didn't end up being the one, he was not, in fact, the guilty one, and I do feel bad for suspecting him. He was just a nice guy, and that made me nervous. I was like, you are a little bit too nice, a little too charming, and a little bit too likable. You must be a kidnapper. He wasn't. He wasn't at all, and I'm really sorry that I thought that. However, the ending was good. I feel like the person that ended up being the suspect was not on my radar. Hindsight, they probably should have been, but they weren't at all. And just like the way it all connected was very satisfying. I will say I continue to feel like the romance was very much a subplot, which is not like the Sparrow Falls series by Catherine Cowles. It wasn't until the very, very ending / epilogue even that I was like, okay, they're really sweet. I really like them together. I never actively disliked them or didn't want them together, but I didn't feel very passionate about their romance until the very end. And I was like, okay, I'm on board. And I also really like their nicknames. He calls her Chaos and she calls him Lawman from the very, very beginning. And it's cute. I like his nickname for her, Chaos. I think it's just a really cute nickname. Great read overall. We are off to a killer start with killer, no pun intended, but that was a good one. That was actually a good one. I wish that was intended because that was clever. But we're off to a really great start is what I was just trying to say. And I'm excited to see where we're going next. I don't know. Let me check my holds at the library and see if there are any that are urgent that I read next. I'm still reading The Bright Years, but that's in another reading vlog, so that will not be in this one. Let's see what else I have on hold. I placed a lot of holds on audio or Kindle versions of books that I own, because then I have the flexibility to like read whatever I want to read. The Bell Jar is coming soon, but I have that in another vlog. I'm planning to do that in another vlog. We could do Big Borrow or Steal. I also have Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult. That could be good. Okay, so I think these are my thoughts for the next one. I have Colleen Hoover's upcoming new release. This is an early release copy, but it'll probably be out by the time this video is up, January 13th, which is not that long from now. So Woman Down, I feel like this was low-key an autobiography about her own life written as fiction. Pretty Girls, I am so scared to get into. Everyone says it's so gory and so dark. Maybe I'll feel a little less scared if we read it together. I don't know. Behind the Net, this is a fluffy hockey romance, which is on Kindle Unlimited, which is really helpful because I'm wanting to read on my Kindle a lot lately. So maybe that one. This I feel like is the best contender at this moment. I See You've Called in Dead. I got this for Christmas and I have been wanting to read it ever since I got my hands on it. Well, even before then, it was on my wish list because I wanted to read it, and then I got the physical copy and it's been on my mind. So maybe this one. I think this might be next. Or maybe Beg, Borrow, and Steal by Sarah Adams if I want a romance. I don't know where we're going, you guys. I will keep you posted, but as of now, top contenders, I think. Hello, so good and bad news. I read Beg, Borrow, or Steal, and I had every intention to vlog this as the next book that I mood read in this video. I read it in like 1.5 sittings. Maybe, we'll call it 2 sittings. It was such an easy read, and I loved it. It was so sweet. I feel like I tabbed little pages. I just wanted to read you one quote from it because it was the cutest thing ever. She's reflecting on a moment where her mom and dad got in an argument because her mom thought they were planting sunflowers and her dad thought they were planting dahlias, and they ended up planting the wrong seeds all together in the same flower bed. And she says she was livid because apparently sunflowers and dahlias are incompatible flowers. Neither will grow well if they're planted together because of something sunflowers do to the soil. Anyway, she felt like all their work for the day went to waste and she just dissolved into tears. I remember mom always being a big feeler, like Madison. My gut tugs and it's going to be a struggle to get it out. But dad pulled her into a hug and reminded her the two of them were incompatible too, but so far they had gotten along okay. I remember her playfully tickling him after that, which led to a sweet kiss. And when she found me watching, she told me to find someone someday who will hug me when I'm sad and then help me look on the bright side of things when all I can see is the dark. That is the cutest thing in the world. That is all any of us deep feelers need from a relationship, is someone to hug you when things feel heavy and help you see the light when you feel like everything's dark. Such a sweet book. I give it 4 stars for anyone wondering. I am so sorry. I totally meant to vlog it and I just flew through it, and I can't retrospectively go back and film these clips talking about different parts of the book because I read the whole book. I don't know what happened. I blinked and I finished it. So I'm sorry. I think I blacked out for a moment. Hello, I just did what I do best and I filmed an entire clip of me talking in 0.5 speed with no audio, which is just my favorite thing ever. I love when I do that and then I have to refilm it. It's so fun. So we're here once again. I'm going to try to remember everything that I said, but we have officially started the next book that I am mood reading, and that is I See You've Called in Dead. I've been wanting to read this book for probably about a month now. It was an early Christmas gift and I have just been eyeing it on my shelf, and I keep telling myself it's going to be the next book I read, and I haven't read it yet. So now is the time. I have only just started it. I'm only a few chapters in and it's hilarious so far. It feels like satire just poking fun at humanity. Just to give you an idea, we start off and he's talking about New Year, the New Year and New Year's resolutions and setting intentions and setting goals and self-help, and the way it's written is so hilariously relatable. I'm just gonna read it to you and you'll catch the vibe. And so the year had started, as years often do, with wide-eyed resolutions, illusions of a new life, as if the turning of a calendar page, the drop of a ball, could somehow jumpstart a life in quicksand, change long ingrained patterns. That's negative thinking, bud. So said the books with the bold covers, colorful and confident, that promise radical transformation. Be the you that not even you will recognize. Happiness is daring you to grab it. Grab it. Everyone kind of thinks you suck. The self-help books did what self-help books often do. Go largely unread, but they did act as a catalyst to begin making a list of things I would change, places I would go, hints of the person I would become. I was going to learn Japanese for an eventual trip to Japan. I would exercise, join a gym, perhaps lift weights and stretch things. I would drink less, just on weekends, and then only a glass or 2. I would start my day early, clear-headed, by sipping hot water with lemon, a drink that holds the benefits of alkalinity, which apparently is a thing. I would avoid coffee, tea, caffeine in general. I would ingest goji berries for their superfood properties. I would meditate. I would listen to the soothing voice of a man from Minneapolis who espoused Buddhist mantras and wisdom, and who also sold t-shirts on his mindfulness website with clever sayings on them, such as being present is a present, or let that shit go. He goes on and on about it, but that little monologue about New Year's resolutions and just poking fun at humanity, he goes on to say this did not last. It lasted one day, all these bold intentions and 180 life transformations, and it's still January when I'm reading this, so it feels very relevant for the New Year's season, and I just thought it was hilarious, so real. And I was expecting I See You've Called in Dead, the title of this book. You think it's gonna be dark or maybe emotional or almost scary. It's kind of a eerie thing. I thought it was a thriller when I first heard of it. But it's hilarious so far. So I don't know where we're going. I don't know if we're going to keep that tone of humor and also simultaneously be deep. I really know nothing about this book. That's the beauty of going in blind, is I don't know what to expect. I'm just here for the vibes. All I've heard about this book is that it's very widely loved by people that I really trust their book opinions. So my hopes are kind of high and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not super far into it yet, but we'll see where this goes. I guess we'll see together. Having a good time so far. It's really funny. I genuinely do not understand how a book can be so witty and laugh out loud hilarious and then in the next breath be so meaningful and so impactful. It's like emotional whiplash kind of reading this book. In one moment I'm like, oh my gosh, humans are so silly, goofy, haha, this is hilarious and so relatable. And then in another moment I'm like, okay, so I just got kicked in the gut because yes, like the quotes in this book, it is such a unique balance of, like, I would put this in the genre of being a humor book and also an emotional book, which is just bizarre how he's able to balance both of these. Just incredible, absolutely incredible. I don't think I even ever fully told you the premise of this book. When I was first starting it, I didn't really know what I was getting into, but we follow our main character. He is an obituary writer, and one night he accidentally publishes his own obituary. Hence the title, I See You've Called In Dead. He shows up to work the next morning and everyone is like, dude, what the heck? I thought you were dead. Like, I read your obituary online last night. What in the world? So he, long story short, ends up deciding that he's going to go around to different funerals and memorials and wakes to really understand the lives of people that have passed away in an attempt to re-inspire his own will to live and his own reason for being alive. And just like there's so many different lives covered in this book and so many different lived experiences that he is discovering as he's doing this. And we have different ages and different demographics and different walks of life and different experiences. And in that, there's so much meaning and it's just so impactful to get so many different perspectives of your valuable time here on earth. Like, we all have the gift of life and how we choose to spend it and what factors from external factors impact our lives and how we impact our lives and the choices and decisions we make. I've been finding myself just feeling really introspective and really inspired by all the different life stories. It makes me want to go out there and like get to know everyone. I always have this weird thing when I'm like driving or passing people in a store or whatever, I'll look at them and I'm like, you have your own unique set of worries and joys and memories and people that you love, and like, who do you call first when the plane lands? Or like, everyone is walking around with like this huge amount of wisdom and lived experience in them that is so foreign to us if we don't get to know them. And even if we do know them, like, we can't know the full extent of someone's lived experience. And this book is really appealing to that part of me that wanders around just curious about other humans and other walks of life. And I'm thoroughly enjoying this book. Like I said, it is literally making me laugh out loud on multiple occasions and also really inspiring that like deep thought process of, oh my gosh, we all have such unique souls and such unique lives, and we're just wandering around and we never really get the chance to know so many of the people around us. It's such a good book, such a good premise. I am really enjoying this. I have not much left. I'm on, the chapters don't have numbers, but I'm on page 220 and there are 290 pages in the book. So I have just about 70 pages left of this and I'm excited to finish it. I'm excited to see where it goes. It is proving to be just a really great read. I went in really blind. I didn't know what to expect and I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm really, really enjoying this. Okay, I just finished I See You've Called In Dead, and this book, you guys, was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I think I'm settling on a 4-star for this one. I didn't get the full 5-star feeling, but I can't pinpoint anything I disliked about the book, honestly. It truly is unlike anything I've ever read before. The style and the genre mashup is so unique and so creative. Like I kept saying in the last clip, like just being so hilarious and also in the same breath talking about death and like themes about the meaning of life, like literally the most philosophical quotes, and then a couple lines later I'm like giggling listening or reading to this book, and just genius, honestly genius. I've been really enjoying like appreciating the writing in books lately, and I feel like I've been really in like my my quotes era. I think reading The Bright Years really made me appreciate beautiful writing from authors and like the writing style, not just like reading books for plot, but like really appreciating every intentional word. And there were quotes in this book as well where I was like, I want to screenshot that. Like if I was listening to the audio, I would literally skip back and replay the quote over and over so I could type it accurately in my notes. So I have a collection of quotes here and I'm going to read some of them to you. None of them are going to be spoilers, but they are just kind of give you some insight into how deep this book is. We do not know where death awaits us, so let us wait for it everywhere. To practice death is to practice freedom. Are we ever fully honest with someone? I don't mean to suggest outright lies, but do we really express those quieter, deeper feelings? Those amorphous, hazy things, core things that even we struggle to admit to ourselves. Do we share everything? I loved that, like just talking about like vulnerability and letting people in and how we mask so many parts of the human experience from each other and like why? Then we all just feel lonely, you know what I mean? I loved this one. It says, maybe we're all obituary writers and our job is to write the best story we can now. That's such an interesting perspective. Like sometimes when I get really overwhelmed, I'm like, okay, when I die, like what matters? What do I want people to remember me for? And like just that thought of like we are living what is going to be written in our obituary someday. It's morbid to think about, but also like perspective. Do you know what I mean? Like that perspective shift of like what really matters? Like when all of this is gone and my time here is done, am I happy with how I live day to day? This one was kind of like quick and funny. It says there are 3 secrets to a happy life. Unfortunately, no one knows what they are. You see, like there's like little moments of wit and relatability that are hilarious in this book. And it's just so well done, you guys. This one really resonated just currently. It says, the world changed, Howard said to his glass, broke in a way. I see things, read things, watch things, and I think, I don't understand that. The vulgarity, the cruelty. He turned to look at me. Is it just me getting older? I think something has changed. Something fundamental, perhaps. And so we retreat. Sure, we do our jobs, provide for our families, but then we seek cover. I subscribe to a channel on YouTube called Relaxing Mowing. It's speeded up footage of people mowing their lawns, trimming their hedges. The world made clean and perfect. They put classical music over it. If someone described that to me 5 years ago, I would say that person was insane. Now, I love it. I watch these things in bed at night. I watch videos of Fred Astaire dancing. The elegance and grace. Where has that gone? Now we have twerking. That, I feel like, sums up the book. Like, we're ending this beautiful quote with, like, the cultural relevance and, like, the little wit and, like, satirical punch at society today. And also in the beginning of the quote, we're talking about how we've lost touch with our humanity. Do you know what I mean? Like, how in the world did John Kennedy hold space for both things so closely together? Brilliant book. Honestly, just brilliant. I think everyone should read this book. It's very quick. It's very easy to get into, and it's hilarious. It's really enjoyable and presents a lot of really deep topics in a way that's super digestible. So really phenomenal read. I am so glad I read it. Solid 4-star rating on that one. And I am very excited where we're going next. I already know where we're going next. I'm going to pick up the book. Hold on. I really want to read The Names. I started this book in the summer, I believe, the month I got it from Book of the Month. I started the book and I got, I think, like 25% into it, honestly, a decent amount. And I was like, I'm just not in the mood for this right now. It was nothing against the book. I was just wanting, I think, a romance at that time, and it was not the fun read that I was looking for, but I'm not in that mood right now. I want something a little deeper and a little more emotional, and so I'm very excited for this. I just saw Sarah Caroli give it 5 stars, I believe, in her latest video, and I am convinced. I was like, oh my gosh, that book was kind of, it like slipped my mind. I kind of just forgot about it. I knew it had been on my radar, but it just like wasn't top of mind anymore, and then seeing her talk about it, I was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to go back to that book. So feels like the perfect time, maybe a sign from the universe, a sign from Sarah. And I am really, really excited to get into it. I haven't started it again yet. I'm just gonna go back and start from the beginning. There's no shot that I can pick up where I left off because it was so long ago at this point. But I am gonna be starting from scratch, starting this book next, and I'm really excited. It feels like the perfect time for it. I just want something deep. I think after reading The Bright Years and how deeply that impacted me, I'm looking for something to give me that same emotional impact in a book. So really excited to read this, excited to see where it goes, and we'll be talking about it, reading it together. But that's the update. I See You've Called Undead. Great read, 4 stars. Very excited for this one. hoping for another 4 or 5 star read. So we'll see where we go. Hello. I feel like I've been having kind of a crazy day, but the craziness for the most part has settled down. So it's time for us to chat about the names. I am just under 200 pages into this book, just a little over halfway, and it is really good. I'm really enjoying it. It is a little bit hard to follow because just the premise of the book, we have like 3 different books kind of in one. Let me back up. Let me explain. So basically this book is about a woman, and she has a daughter and then she has a newborn son, and she is in the process of going to name her son, to like birth certificate, name her son. And her husband really wants to continue the family tradition of his name. His name is Gordon and his father's name is Gordon, and just like this lineage of men named Gordon, and he wants to pass that down to his son. Her daughter, who I think is like 5, 7-ish, wants to name the baby Bear, and the woman, Cora, the mom, she wants to name him Julian. So 3 different names are kind of in the running, I guess, and she's going and she's very, very conflicted. That's how the book starts. She's very conflicted of what she's going to write down on this baby's birth certificate. And from that point, the story breaks off into 3 different parallel timelines with each name option. So we have a storyline for Bear, a storyline for Julian, and a storyline for Gordon. And what's really important that you need to know is Gordon, the dad in this situation, is really just not a good guy. He is the town's doctor, so he's highly respected in the town, but at home he is very, very abusive. And so trigger warning there for domestic violence for sure. And so with that, she's feeling disconnected kind of automatically from the baby named Gordon in that storyline, and she's struggling to form a bond. And we just kind of see as Gordon, the child, grows up, Gordon Jr., he is different because of the name. He's like wanting to become his father. He's wanting to really appeal to his father. He's wanting to please his father. And in doing so, his own morals kind of take a hit. And then in the other 2 timelines, I would say Bear and Julian are more similar in their morals and kind of how they develop, but they also have their own unique struggles and challenges, and seeing the naming situation play out, like that in particular when she announces to Gordon Sr. that she named the baby Bear, or she named the baby Julian, seeing how that played out, and just like the foundation from the get-go is really emotional and really heavy, and also so interesting. Like I just love the parallel timeline plots. I love when books do that. It reminds me of Maybe in Another Life, I think is the book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and we get 2 parallel timelines, which I love that. But like I was saying, it's a little bit difficult because sometimes I feel like I'm following 3 different stories in one. We have all different characters, we have different side characters and different plots and different storylines and different events that I'm trying to keep straight with, like who's who. And that is my one complaint. That's probably a me problem, but that is my one complaint about the book. But as a whole, really enjoying it. It's like equal parts beautiful and heartbreaking simultaneously, and the writing is phenomenal. I feel like I've been finding just like back-to-back authors that are incredible in their writing. So really enjoying this. It is Sunday now, and so I'm hoping that I can finish the book today. I got a lot of my to-dos and the craziness done this morning, and so I'm hoping I can sit down and kind of crank out the rest of this book. I think I'm on page like 180, 190. And there's only 308, so like just over 100 pages left. I feel like that's definitely doable for today. So I'm gonna sit down, try to crank out more of this book, and I will circle back and update you probably with my final update. Really unique plot, really unique premise, and I'm enjoying it overall. Okay, final update, rating, thoughts, all that jazz on the names. This was really good, really good. I think I said in the last clip, it really feels like an equal balance between beauty and heartbreak. Like it is a beautiful story and devastating simultaneously. And despite feeling a little bit confused following 3 different storylines, I still felt very connected to the characters in each storyline, and there's just so much life in this book. Like, I feel like I just lived so many years through these characters, and so much loss as well. Like, it just really kept coming. I feel like I was not expecting the level of loss and grief that existed in this book, but I think that's what made it feel so raw and so real and so vulnerable. My washing machine is going, so I think you can probably hear it. I should shut my door, but hopefully it's not super distracting. I'm gonna shut my door. It's kind of loud. Hopefully that's better with the door shut. There was just so much meaning in this book, like so much meaning. There's a weird symbol on the bottom of my camera. I don't know what setting that is. Can I click on it? Tracking cancel. I don't want to cancel the tracking. I'm gonna be blurry now. Ah, shoot. The little box says it's tracking me. I don't know. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I was very invested in all of the storylines, but I honestly feel like the most emotional to me was Gordon, the son Gordon, and that third storyline. That one I feel like that one's gonna stick with me longer. And I don't know what it is. There's just so, I don't want to give anything away, so I'm just gonna shut up, honestly. But that storyline to me felt the most impactful and the most memorable. But I loved reading about Bear and about Julian and their stories and their lives and how they went on and how they went about their life. I loved Cora, what a strong woman she was in so many ways. I loved Maya, also what a strong woman. Maya's the sister. I don't know if I even told you about her, but she kind of has her own story unfolding in all the different parallel lifetimes. And just the characters were really, really special, really thought out. There were some quotes that I saved and took pictures of on my phone to read to you guys because I'm just in my quotes era. I cannot get enough of beautiful writing. Here's a simple one. I'm trying to like sort through and find ones that don't give anything away, so they might seem kind of random and short, but that's because that's intentional. I don't want to give away any of the plot. Sometimes their need to please previous generations is greater than their need to love future ones. Sometimes he is benign, sometimes stern, almost maleficent. A word so close to magnificent, she thinks, set off course by maleness. The writing there, like the use of words and the intentionality of words in that quote, and in this book in general, but that quote, so smart, so brilliant. This broke my heart. Reading about the impacts on children that live in a domestic violence home, this quote just like broke my heart. Cora realized her daughter has learned what to do, how to soothe, to placate, that just through watching the first time she stepped into this role, she has already accomplished. If it doesn't stop, Cora thinks, this pattern will repeat unendingly, the destiny of each generation set on the same course. So Cora felt the pressure to be the people pleaser, to smooth things over, to not ruffle feathers because she's afraid of the man that she's living with. Her daughter, without even being taught, is naturally picking up these traits, and the fear that that's just going to generationally keep passing down of like women having to carry the burden of not ruffling feathers and keeping the peace for everybody because the man in the house can't control their temper and their anger. That was heartbreaking. Isn't she just teaching her daughter that keeping the peace is more important than doing what's right? So many good quotes, so much meaning, so much power, so much emotion. Really incredible. I also, if you don't have the physical copy, you might have missed this, but she has a list of character names at the end of the book. And I loved that. The emphasis on names and how much of an impact they can have on a person. Like the official meaning of Gordon is Great Hill, which means immovable, looming, a hard climb to reach the other side. Bear is soft, cuddly, brave, and strong. Julian is Sky Father. Maya is Mother. Orla is Golden Princess. Lily is Purity or Innocence. Pearl is Precious. So cool, and so cool to think about how the power of names ties into character traits and personality and brings up the whole like nature versus nurture argument. There's just so much to think about reading this book, and I think that's why I loved it so much. Like, it just put my brain in so many different spots and on so many different tangents. Highly recommend picking it up. I am glad that I circled back and that I revisited it. I understand why I wasn't in the mood in the summer. I think just like following the 3 storylines, you have to be an active reader and you can't let your mind wander. Like, you can't want anything fluffy. You have to be all in on the book. And so I understand why it was just kind of right book, wrong time a few months ago, but it now felt like right book, right time. I was really wanting something emotional and deep and meaningful, and that definitely scratched that itch for me. I'm giving that one a 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it, and that was wonderful. This was a great reading vlog. I think we had 4, 4, 4, right? I think we had 4 stars all around. I'm just crushing it with the reads so far. I have only had one read below a 4-star rating this year, this entire year so far, which is unheard of for me. I am just living the best reader life ever. So I'm just really in a mood reading groove. I'm really enjoying that. So thanks for hanging out with me as I just mood read with no real plan or intention. I think that was a lot of fun. I needed that. But that is all for today's video. Like I said, thanks for hanging out with me and just mood reading with me and feeling all the feels of being a reader. I had a really good time over these last few books, and I'm glad I got to share them with you. So wrapping it up here, make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss any future videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, book besties.